slanting through the thin silver mist. The dew upon the yellow leaves.
I don't remember if I said in my last video, Happy New Year. I probably didn't, because that video was kind of a last minute add-on. Last week's reading vlog about Wuthering Heights. Go watch that if you haven't seen it yet. So Happy New Year. I hope that everybody had a fabulous, turn of the year holiday season. Oh, you know what? I said that in my book bracket video. Well, I'm saying it again. Happy New Year. We're like 2 weeks into the year. It is a Wednesday and I was traveling all this last weekend. I just got home yesterday from like 4 or so days in Florida. After you travel, you need a little bit of a reset day. So of course I'm doing home reset stuff today, like laundry. I got to go to the grocery store. I also wanted to spend a bookish day. At this point, I don't have a watch on. That was just for show. Like a bookish afternoon together. I got some book mail while I was gone that I am so excited about. It's just one book, but I'm very excited about this book. So I wanted to open it together. And I want to talk about the books that I read while I was traveling. I actually had a fabulous reading weekend. I wasn't on vacation, but I still managed to find time to read. So I was happy about that. And I want to do some reading journal updates. We have actually a pretty good amount of things to do in my reading journal. And I am not a reading journal YouTuber, so I'm not gonna have like a nice top-down pretty setup for y'all. We're gonna open this book mail because I'm too excited. I have to open this up. I don't even know, how do I open this up? Just like tear it? She's so pretty. Okay, wait, actually I can't lie, it's smaller than I thought it was gonna be. Yeah, okay, so this is interesting. Like, this is the special edition, but it's small. I also don't think I realized this was a dust jacket. I thought that this was printed on. But let's see. Oh, okay. That is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So if you watched my book bracket video that came out, I think 2 weeks ago, If We Were Villains was my favorite book of the year. And I didn't have a copy of it. I had a very sadly drawn copy on craft paper. So I ordered the special edition mostly because I didn't like the way any of the other editions looked. So it has finally arrived. She's really pretty. Oh, I'm actually so happy to have a copy of this. Emily St. John Mandel blurbed this. She's got good taste. What can I say? The illustrations are what I'm really interested in right now. Okay. Yeah, here's like the dock and the boathouse. Wait, let me move in maybe so y'all can see. Maybe I won't show you ones if they have any sort of spoilers. Here's, oh, what's the school card called? Delishers? Delishay? I wonder how they pronounce it. The theater. What's happened to the theater? Sorry, that's something me and my husband say all the time. Bonus points. Let me know in the comments if you know what movie is that from. Oh, this is one of my favorite scenes. This is the Macbeth scene. Oh my gosh. When I tell you, listening to the Macbeth scene on audio was legitimately somewhat of a transcendent experience. It was so cool. You may not be as interested in this as I am, but I'm excited. Let's see if there's any more really, really cool ones. Yeah, this one's not really a spoiler either, even though it's near the end. That's really exciting. I just read the book a year ago and I know for sure that I do want to reread it. The funny thing is, because I did kind of a tandem read the first time with ebook and audio, and I kind of went back and forth between the two, mostly because I was so impatient. I didn't want to stop reading it ever. And I loved it so much in both formats. So I almost kind of need to do two separate rereads, one that's all audio and then one that is kind of all the book, which I now have. The main thing that we have to do now is figure out where to put this. I do not have space. If I find somewhere cute, I'll show you. And then I think I'm gonna make a meal plan for the next couple days, do a quick grocery store trip. Maybe when I get back from that, we will yap about the books that I read this last weekend. See y'all in a little bit. Okay, inserting footage really quick here. Sorry, I realized I've already watched some and this sprig is driving me crazy. I'm so sorry. But I'm not even setting up my lights, tripod, like none of it for this. But the clip I had after this, I was like, I just started talking about these stickers that I think I thought I had introed for y'all, but I had not actually talked about yet. So I'm glad I caught that before, I started editing tomorrow. I ordered these stickers for my reading journal. They fit like the theme that I wanted back at Thanksgiving. And I ordered them through Etsy, but they're coming from Paris, like literal Paris, France. They have not arrived. At this point, I find it unlikely that they ever will. They're probably lost somewhere in the Atlantic. But the last like 6 weeks, however long it's been, probably longer at this point, maybe verging on 7 or 8 of my life, every single day, every single trek to the mailbox has been filled with hope that the stickers have come, and then just complete sadness when they do not arrive. So hopefully that's the context you need for what I'm about to start talking about and what I will talk about in the journaling portion of the video later. Okay, bye. On the way home from the grocery store, I'm gonna stop by my mailbox really quick and just see if the stickers have arrived. It's so unlikely that they have. If not, I'll change directions this afternoon. I was gonna walk over to the mailbox so I could get maybe a little bit of exercise today, but if you couldn't tell from the raindrops on the window and the general grayness of the sky, it's a gross day. It is cold and rainy. Honestly, it smells like snow. If it gets any colder, then I think this rain we're getting will turn into snow, which I would love so much. Keep my fingers crossed for that. Keep my fingers crossed for the stickers. Let's see. Womp womp. Not only were they not there, the mailbox was completely empty. Like, insult to injury, really. I have like a lot of energy right now and I'm feeling like I want to get stuff done. So I'm going to stay on that train and continue to do some of the chores I need around the house. I think while I'm doing that, I'm going to keep listening to my current audiobook listen, which is A Most Remarkable Creature by, oh no, Jonathan. It's either Freiberg or Myberg. It's a really interesting book. I don't know if I would call it a memoir, but it's nonfiction and he's writing about these birds, caracaras, which are a type of bird that is found kind of in the southernmost part of South America and the Falkland Islands. I love nature. I love books about nature and birds and miscellaneous animals. So I'm really enjoying it. I started it on my last leg of my plane trip home yesterday. So I'm going to keep listening to that, go get my errands done. I'll feel a lot better, I think, once that's done. And so then I can kind of sit and enjoy some good time of journaling and yapping to y'all. So, errands, then yap. Chores are done. Well, errands, chores. So now we can go to the fun stuff. Actually, I was going to tell you first like about everything that I read over the weekend, but part of what I need to do in the journal is update it with that stuff. So I think I might just start working on the journal and I'll talk as I go. I know this isn't the best angle. Sorry about that, but it'll be okay. Okay, so I'm just going to go through an order, I think, and update everything that needs to be updated. So I guess this might turn into a little bit of a flip through. So this, okay, I will say, I'm not going to show you everything. Wait, let me make sure you can see it. This postcard is what kind of influenced my journal theme for the year. And this is kind of what those stickers that I ordered looked like. This is my like 26 and 26 page. It's basically empty that I will be finishing today because I have those stickers. Nothing to update on physical TBR, nothing to update on NetGalley, classic tracker. Okay, so this is my January TBR spread, and I finished Light Breakers by Asia Gable, which was on my January TBR, so I am going to highlight her. Okay, January 11th. So Asia Gable wrote The Ensemble, which is a literary fiction about a string quartet, and it just had some of the most gorgeous writing. I loved the way she wrote about music. I love the way she wrote about human relationships. It's like an all-time fave for me, so I was so excited when I saw that she had a new book coming out. I'm gonna flip forward and also write it down on my like yearly tracker. This new book, I mean, it was pretty different from The Ensemble, but it had kind of just as much heart and an absolutely gorgeous plot. I'm finding it very hard, if you couldn't tell from the stuttering pace, I'm finding it very hard to write and talk at the same time. Okay, momentary pause. So I can tell you that Light Breakers was about this married couple. The man is a scientist, the woman is an artist, and he had this pretty tragic past. He was married previously, and him and his first wife lost their child. Their 3, almost 4-year-old little girl died, and so he obviously is deep in grief still to this day about that. He hasn't really healed. He gets hired by this kind of eccentric billionaire, Elon Musk sort of guy, to go work at this secretive facility in Texas. It turns out that they have figured out time travel and they want him to kind of be their subject who's traveling back in time. He's obviously scientifically interested in this, but he also is like, whoa, I might have a chance to see my little girl again. I maybe even could figure out a way to change what happened. He gets really, really sucked in by that. It kind of starts taking a lot out of him. His wife is deeply concerned at the same time. He's kind of stuck in the past, so she starts thinking about her past and a man that she was in love with for a long time who's now in Japan. So she travels to Japan. There's a lot going on, but all in all, it was just a gorgeous story. It was really about grief and trauma and healing, living in the present, not being stuck in the past or even really the future, but just really living in the now. I will say, like, enormous trigger warning for the death of his child, which is explored in great details. That was pretty intense. Asia Gable does a really good job of balancing plot and character development, so I loved it. That was my first 5-star of the year. Actually, I can flip back to my log too, because the next book, it's the second book in the series. It starts with The Tainted Cup, which is the first book I read this year. This is the second in the series. I loved it. I didn't have quite as much fun as I did with the first one because it wasn't quite as brand new. You know, second books in series are always really hard. The concept just is that we have Anna and Din. Anna is this great investigator, kind of a Sherlock Holmes type character, and Din is her assistant, and it's murder mysteries. Like, they're a team, they solve these murder mysteries together, but it's set in this fantasy world where, okay, while I'm saying this, I'm going to flip over and update my series tracker because I read the second in this series. In this fantasy world where these leviathans, these giant sea monsters, are real, so they're kind of living under constant threat of being attacked by these creatures. Also, the blood that they have extracted from these creatures has caused them to be able to make these huge strides in technology. They have a lot of genetic modification, both of people to give them special abilities as well as plants. So it's a really cool design of world, and I love like classic style, process-driven, slow-paced murder mysteries. So that was a lot of fun. I really liked that. Those are the two books that I finished over the weekend. I also started Heart the Lover by Lily King. I got about halfway through and then I realized, like, I think the second half of this book is gonna make me cry, and I was on an airplane. So I switched over to an audiobook, which is the one I told you about earlier, A Most Remarkable Creature. The back half of my journal is more, as you can see, like, I don't know if you can see, personal curriculum tracker. Am I even holding this in the right spot? I'm sorry. I'm like the worst journal YouTuber of all time. So I have a couple daily trackers here for things that I'm wanting to do every day for my personal curriculum. One is listening to the daily listenings from this book, actually, Year of Wonder, which is a piece of classical music every single day. I actually haven't even listened to them yet. I need to catch up and then fill in the tracker for those. And then also my daily tracker for reading the Poetry Foundation poem of the day. That one I am caught up on, actually, and I've read all through today. I probably need to pause on doing the journaling and just go listen to these pieces now so I can update this and get caught up. Oh, you know what? I do have one more thing to put in. I added a little media tracker at the back of the journal. Just for fun, I track movies, TV shows, and games beaten. And the night before I left for my trip, actually, I finished a TV series. I'm in my K-drama era again, which is so exciting. I used to be super into K-dramas, and then I kind of took a break for a while because I burned myself out. Oh no, this pen's running out. But I watched one last week, finished it the night before I left. It was so good. It's called Resident Playbook. It's on Netflix if you want to watch it. It's a medical drama and is kind of centered around this group of first-year medical residents on a... Oh, it's so hard for me to write and talk at the same time. So much respect for journal bloggers right now. It is set on a maternity ward, an OBGYN ward at a hospital with the first-year residents. It's set in the same universe as Hospital Playlist, which is another K-drama that's on Netflix. I actually liked Hospital Playlist more. I found the characters more lovable, but this was a really fun follow-up. So I enjoyed that a lot. So I'm gonna go listen to these so I can update this tracker, and then I'll come back and we can work on my 26 and 26 spread together. I'm back. I listened to all the music. I'm caught up. Of course, there was like a 15-minute Mendelssohn string octet thing. But that was good actually, because I needed some time to try and figure out what I want to do to strategize here on this page. This big kind of open square here in the middle is where I was going to put one of those stickers, but I think I'm just going to use these book cover stickers that I have. I think I'm just going to kind of fill in the middle. I'm going to use these little tags to write, you know, 26 and 26, put the cover, and then obviously stick in all of the book covers around. So while I'm doing that, I'll tell you about my 26 and 26 and how I chose. So I talked about, actually, I think it might have been my first video ever. Was it my first video ever? That I finished my 15 and 25. So last year, you know, I heard about everybody doing this 25 and 25, and I was like, oh, you know, that sounds really fun, but it also sounds like a lot. I don't know if I wanted to commit to that many. I am like the most kind of not precise journaler of all time. So you see, I'm just kind of winging it. And so I just committed to 15, and I actually ended up really loving it. So this year I decided to do a full 26. I have kind of broken it up into categories. So I have 4 rereads. I just recently this last year started counting rereads towards my yearly total. I've always reread, but I just kind of thought like, I'm not going to count this. And then last year I thought, why? If I'm reading a whole book, then why would I not count it again? So I have several that I really, really want to get to soon. I'm reading back through all the works of Pride and Prejudice not of Pride and Prejudice, LOL, of Jane Austen. I read Emma this last year, and this year I want to read Pride and Prejudice. It's actually been a really long time since I read it, so I'm excited to get to that. I also want to reread 3 kind of more contemporary literary fiction-ish books that it's been probably 5+ years or so since I read. Tell the Wolves I'm Home, which is a story about this young girl and her relationship with her uncle and her uncle's kind of partner. Her uncle is sick with AIDS. I believe the book is set in the 90s, if I'm remembering correctly. I also really want to reread Castle of Water by Dane Huckelbridge, which is kind of a survival story. These 2 people that don't even speak the same language crash on an island in the Pacific and have to try and survive. Sorry, you have to sit here and watch me struggle with stickers. And A Heart and a Body in the World, which is actually contemporary YA by Deb Coletti. And it is about a teenage girl, but I just feel like it's so not YA in a lot of ways. The themes that it explores. I don't want to spoil it because it is a little bit of a spoiler. I would say look up triggers for the book, but basically a young girl is kind of working through some grief and some trauma over something that she experienced and decides to kind of take off and run across America. And I remember just thinking it was absolutely so gorgeous. I'm not even going to tell you how much longer I struggled with that sticker. I paused talking so I could at least maybe make a cut. The other category, or the second of the 3 categories then, is new releases. There's obviously more than 7 new releases coming out this year that I'm really excited to read, but I picked 7. The majority of the new releases I would say are books that are kind of next in a series that I already know I love. So I put on my book covers. What I'm doing now is just using these like little chalkboard stickers. I'm probably going to write the 26 and 26 on them and stick them in these spots here. So A Ghastly Catastrophe, which is book 10 in the Veronica Speedwell series by Deanna Raybourn. I can actually hardly believe that there are 10 books in that series. It's like a historical mystery series. There's a romance subplot. I can't actually see that gold very well. Maybe I'll let it dry a little bit and go back over it. The new Six of Crows novella that's coming out, I am so unbelievably excited about. I can't stand it. I think that's called A Darker Shore. Book 8 in Dungeon Crawler Carl is coming out. That's A Parade of Horribles. The Exquisite Torment of Loving Your Enemy, which is the follow-up to, oh my gosh, do I remember the name of The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. Adversary to the Villain, which is the 4th in the Assistant to the Villain series. Deadbeat, which is the 3rd book in the series that starts with Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. So 2 Leigh Bardugos this year. We are truly blessed. Exit Party by Emily St. John Mandel. I absolutely love Emily St. John Mandel. I am so excited for a new release by her. So actually that's the only one of the 7 that is not in a series. I'm just going over this with black, which seems kind of funny because it's on black stickers already, but I just need a little more definition, I think, to the title. I know I'll read other new releases that come out this year. I actually have a page for it in my journal where I'm kind of tracking the ones I'm most excited about. But as far as the ones I know I'll get to, I kind of put those on here because I didn't want to make it too challenging for myself. I wanted to put books on here I knew I was going to read anyway. So that's kind of why I chose those. Some of those, the titles haven't, or not the titles, the covers haven't even been released yet. So we won't have covers for them. Actually, you know, it's funny, this morning, the cover for The Parade of Horribles, which is the new Dungeon Crawler Carl book, was shared. I saw it on Instagram and I was like, oh, perfect, I can print that out. All the rest of the covers I kind of order from a girl on Etsy. It's just easier to have somebody else print them out, and honestly kind of cheaper. She's pretty affordable. I'll put her tag on the screen. But I do have a little like Canon Z ink printer, so as these are kind of released through the year, I can print those out as needed. Then, okay, let's see, 26 in. Should I put something behind it? I feel like it's gonna look a little awkward floating. So I have these stickers here, but I'm wondering if I should anchor it with a flower or something. Let me pull out my flower stickers. Let's see what we have got. I mean, we've got all sorts of options. I don't know, it might be too much. Actually, you know what? Let me stick down the covers because I do think I run the risk of this becoming way, way too busy and there being way too much going on if I don't get the covers down first. And while I'm doing that, actually, I can talk about the backlist titles. A lot of them are classics. I do have a goal to read 20 classics this year, so I've got a lot of those on the list. I tried to be, you know, kind to myself with this list and make things overlap as much as possible so that I wasn't having to read, you know, 26 extra books in addition to all the other things, all the other reading goals and stuff I was working towards. I'm just gonna go through these sheets in order and as I find them, I will tell you about them. So I will say one of the backlist titles on my list and probably my big series goal for the year. I always try to pick like one series that I want to really dive into is The Fellowship of the Ring. I want to do Lord of the Rings this year. And my husband and I are actually at the moment listening to like an abridged radio adaptation of it that he had on cassette tape. Like we're literally listening to these books on cassette tape, which is so funny. But it's a lot of fun. We listen to one side of the tape per night while we eat dinner. And it's just super fun to sit and do together. Storygraph counts that as me reading the book. To me, especially because I have this on a challenge, I am not willing to count that. So I still am gonna sit and actually read the whole book. But I think this is kind of a good introduction to his writing style, a good reminder to myself of the story, because I've seen the movies, of course, but whetting my appetite, I guess, for getting into the book itself. These other ones I've stuck down. I have East of Eden by John Steinbeck, O Pioneers by Willa Cather, Song of Solomon by Toni Morrison, Dr. Faustus by Thomas Mann, The Souls of Black Folk by W.B. Du Bois. It's actually the only nonfiction I have on the list. I read a lot of nonfiction and poetry. That one I really wanted to make sure I got to this year. Flight Behavior by Barbara Kingsolver. I am making my way through reading her entire backlist. My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante, Singer's Gun, Emily St. John Mandel, which actually I think I've heard that might be kind of good to read before Exit Party comes out this year. I think it's gonna have some crossover between characters like some of her other books. All these books, or I would say most of these backlist books, are books that I own. So it's also, again, kind of helped me work towards the goal of reading my physical TBR. The one I just stuck down, The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa, I don't own. I really want to read. I've been really interested in returning to her works. I've read The Housekeeper and The Professor, and I just absolutely loved it. The other kind of series goal I have for this year is continuing the Stormlight Archives. So I'm just sticking down Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. That's the second book in the Stormlight Archives. I just stuck down Wuthering Heights, which actually is the one from this list that I have already completed. I have a whole reading vlog from last week. Kind of stinks because it's the first one from this list, and I really did not like it very much. But you can go watch the video for all of the details on why. Am I confusing myself? Am I running out? I've definitely missed a few in here. Okay, no. Actually, we're caught up. We're good. This is kind of embarrassing to say, actually, but I have never read To Kill a Mockingbird. It just never came up in school, and it's one of those things that it just feels like man, if I've never read it, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just too late for me. But I know I need to. I know I need to get to it. And then the final one, sticker I'm putting here is 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Again, just a one that it really feels like I should read. I read Love in the Time of Cholera years ago and hated it. So I really wasn't gonna give him another shot. But then I talked to a friend this last year that said the same thing, that like she did not like Love in the Time of Cholera at all. But 100 Years of Solitude is probably one of her favorite books ever. Okay, so there's the list. I'm waiting on 3. What are the 3 that I'm waiting on? The covers. Oh, that's right. Okay, so we're waiting on A Darker Shore cover, Deadbeat cover, and I thought I got Exit Party on there in time. Well, I will print out another page of things and include the Exit Party cover on there. I also got from the same girl who I got the Brooke covers printed from. She also has these 5-star stickers. So that's why you're like, those books don't fit in the bracket. It's because I left space for a 5-star sticker under each one, and that's going to basically be the way that I indicate that I have read the books on this list. It'll be the way that I check them out is when I color in the 5-star indicator below it. That feels a little weird for the rereads. I think all of them I have already rated 5 stars and read. That's why I want to reread them. I think it is possible for a rating to change. I reread a couple books this year that were 5-star reads, and when I read them, I still love them, but I'm like, for me now, this would probably be more of a 4.5. But they were also romances, and my tastes have definitely changed. I'm like not much of a romance reader anymore. For me, there's still standouts in the romance genre, but maybe not like a 5-star compared to some of the other things that I read. I'm glad I stuck these covers down because the more I look at it, the more I think that I don't really want to add anything else. I'll have to figure out too if I want to color in the stars in a color or different color. I could try and match it like to the book cover every time, or if I just want to kind of keep it simple and color it in with black. Okay, so let's put on now the covers, or the title. You probably can't see that well at all. I mean, I can't see it super well either, but also I know what this page is, so it's not like the title is super crucial. Okay, pretty cute. So let me fill in. I ended up giving Wuthering Heights 2.5 stars. I think I'm just gonna go in with black. Okay, wait, I almost got excited coloring in and overcolored. 2.5. Okay, I got that last cover printed out. Stick her in there. And then I'll show you a close-up of the page because I know that this angle isn't great. Oh, once again, sorry, you have to sit here and watch me try and get the back off of a sticker. Okay, I got it. There we go. She's in frame. The page is done. And I'm happy with that. It's cute. Definitely a lot going on. Kind of kept the decoration and title and everything a little bit simple. With that, I think I've done all the journal updates I need to. I will see y'all in 2 weeks from today when you see it, not from today when I'm recording, but I think January the 30th, I will have my next regularly scheduled video out unless I just decide to put another one in, you know, like I did last week with the Wuthering Heights vlog. But I am looking forward to see y'all then. Thank you so much for watching the video and hanging with me a little bit today. Happy reading. I will see y'all next time.